they live together. And now, I think this is my favorite
there's
part.
also an important thing here that I thought. So the boy asks him, so are you going to instruct me? And then the alchemist tells him, no. He says, you already know all you need to know. I am only going to point you in the direction of your treasure.
Woo-wee.
Everything, there's a lot even through this story where it says everything that you need to know is within you. The language of the world, because you're connected to the universe.
Yeah.
You know everything you need to know. You just need some guidance.
And I think going back to our real lives, like, aren't we always held back just because we don't have the full picture?
Yes.
We always want everything to be like figured out. Yet you can start with what you know. You have like the things working in your favor, the things that are right in front of you. Go with those. Go with those. Pursue your personal legend. Jesus. Anyways, so I wanted, now they start moving together, and he sold his camel. He said these camels are not the best for the next part. The next part, we are progressing when the war is still going on. So we need horses, not camels. So they purchase two horses, and they get on. And so most of the journey, he talks about that they were going in silence, and because they had to be aware of whatever is going on. During this silence, that I have something written in my notes, the heart. Like, we need to talk about the conversation he has with the heart. You guys, this was like, for me, the beginning of my climax of this story. Let me read for you a little bit about what he says. As they moved along, the boy tried to listen to his heart, because the alchemist had told him, immerse yourself in it. Immerse yourself. The desert will give you an understanding. That's what you were talking about. You don't even have to understand that desert. All you have to do is contemplate a single grain of sand, and you will see in it all the marvels of creation. And he says, how do I immerse myself in the desert? And he says, listen to your heart. It knows all things because it came from the soul of the world, and it will one day return there. So the heart we're seeing like a connection to this. And at first I was very, very, I was like, that statement doesn't seem, we've heard that the heart is very deceitful among all things. And I like the conversation that goes on, because it clarifies, because we're hearing like the heart is deceitful. Don't listen, don't follow your heart. He was saying listen, and I love why he says that. So in the days that followed, the boy tried to listen to his heart. And he says it was not an easy thing to do. In earlier times, his heart had always been ready to tell its story, but lately that wasn't true. There had been times when his heart spent hours telling of its sadness, and other times it became emotional over the desert, the sunrise, and the boy had to hide his tears. Sometimes it would be emotional. That's one of the reasons you shouldn't trust your heart. Listen to it, and the reason why they say listen to it is going to come up ahead. And the boy asked, why do we listen to our hearts? And this is it. I love this response. The alchemist tells him, because wherever your heart is,
there your treasure.
That is where your treasure is. That is where you'll find your treasure. Matthew 6:21 actually in the Bible is that where treasure is, your heart is. And then the boy says, but my heart is agitated. It has its dreams. It gets emotional. It becomes passionate over a woman of the desert. It asks things of me, and it keeps me from sleeping many nights when I'm thinking about her. And he says, well, that's good. Your heart is alive. Keep listening to what it has to say. So during the next few days, again, he continues listening. And this time, listen, the boy's heart began to speak of fear. It told him of stories it had heard from the soul of the world, stories of men who sought to find their treasure. Sometimes it frightened and never succeeded. So it now tells him, oh, there are people who tried to get treasure and they never succeeded. It's trying to bring fear. And then sometimes it frightened the boy with the idea that he might not even find the treasure, or that he might die there in the desert. And at other times it told the boy that it was satisfied, that I have found riches. And so the next day he told the alchemist, my heart is a traitor. And I was like, that's it. Because your heart can never tell you one thing. And that's the reason why it's important to listen to your heart, to listen to it, because one day it's going to tell you this, another day it's going to tell you this. But the purpose of you listening to your heart is for you to understand that this is how my heart is. The good things I feed it, which is going to come up front here. He says, my heart is a traitor. It doesn't want me to go on. The Alchemist says, that makes sense. Naturally, it's afraid that in pursuing your dream, you might lose everything you've won already. Well, then why should I listen to my heart? He says, because you will never again be able to keep it quiet. Even if you pretend not to have heard it, what it tells you, it will always be there inside you, repeating to you what you are thinking about life and about the world. So he's like, you mean I should listen even if it's treasonous? Treason is a blow that comes unexpectedly. If you know your heart well, now this is the purpose of listening. If you know your heart well, it will never be able to do that to you, because you'll know its dreams and wishes, and you will know how to deal. I understand, I underline that double. To deal with them. You will never be able to escape from your heart. So it's better to listen to it, to what it has to say. That way you'll never have to fear an unanticipated blow. And I thought that was, I thought that was very important. It's important to listen to our heart, because number one, our heart lies. Today it tells you this, tomorrow it tells you that. But the more you listen and understand, the more you get understanding of your heart, that, oh my God, this is, it betrays me. It betrays me all the time. Then you're going to know how to deal with it. And I know that many times we just try to what? To push it down, to push it down and push down. Things, push it down.
Eventually.
And or we let it lead us into the fears that it has, or the whatever is in the mind, because it says what is in your mind is what is in your heart, right? So he was saying, he was basically, what he's saying is like, your heart is deceitful, but you need to listen to it to know how to deal with it. Because if you don't know what your heart is telling you, if your heart is telling you fear, then you know how to deal with the fear. So listen to your heart. Is it fearful? Now tell it the truth. What is the reason to be afraid? And there was another part, like, let me first finish and then I let you guys come in. So the boy continued to listen to his heart. As they crossed the desert, he came to understand its dodges and its tricks, and he learned to accept it as it was. He lost his fear and forgot about his need to go back to the oasis, because one afternoon his heart told him that it was happy. Even though I complain, this is the heart saying, even though I complain sometimes, it's because I'm the heart of a person, and people's hearts are that way. People are afraid to pursue their most important dreams because they feel they don't deserve them.
Number one.
You guys, because they feel they don't deserve them, all that, they will be unable to achieve them. And with our hearts, we become fearful just thinking of the loved ones who go away forever, or of the moments that could have been good but weren't, or of treasures that might have been found but were forever hidden in the sands. Because when these things happened, we suffer terribly. My heart is afraid. So the boy said, my heart is afraid that it will have to suffer. And then this guy says, tell your heart that the fear of suffering, now this is important, the fear of suffering is worse than the suffering itself. You guys. The fear of suffering is worse than suffering itself.
Like
I'd never thought about it at all.
That, you know, when we were promised, when we were kids and the teacher told you, at break I'm going to, the fear,
the anticipation, the way,
the
is much worse than
the actual cane.
That is so true. He's telling the boy, tell your heart that the fear of suffering is worse than the suffering itself, and that no heart has ever suffered when it goes in search of its dreams, because every second of the search is a second's encounter with God and with eternity. I thought that was amazing, you guys, because regardless of the suffering, every second of that search is a and so the boy is repeating this to every second of the search is an encounter with God. You guys, this was so amazing. And he continues talking to his heart. He's like, when I have been truly searching for my treasure, every day has been luminous, because I've known that every hour was a part of the dream that I would find it. You know, when I have been truly searching for my treasure, I have discovered things along the way that I never would have seen had I not had the courage to try things that seemed impossible for a shepherd to achieve.
Oh, yeah. Oh, moment of silence.
A moment of silence for these words. If he had
Let them
never
sing.
gone, he would never have discovered all these things that
Up
he's
until
been
this
learning.
moment, there's the adventures he has gone through, the things that he has learned. It's even if at this point he goes back, he will not be the same shepherd he was back then. Like if it's all the people he will talk to, you
Yeah.
know that this person
It's different.
is different. His experience is now speaking
Higher.
much
It's
much
different.
higher intelligence. He's speaking on another level. Like if he's speaking, if he's able to converse now on the level of the alchemist, a normal person cannot deal. You can't talk to a normal person and they understand because he's now dealing on a much much higher level.
So true, so true. This time around reading this book, this is what stood out for me. This conversation with the heart, and I feel like I'm going to be having these conversations with my heart because I don't know about for you boys, but girls, we always have like our heart leads a lot, and so having these conversations with the heart, understanding like we need to listen to the heart, but not for us to follow it, for us to know how to deal with it, because the heart is it fears suffering, and it has a lot of fear, it has a lot of like, it fears this, it fears that, what
So
if I
keeps
don't,
deceiving
what if,
you.
what if,
We are happy if you go.
Aha.
You
It
suffer,
tells you we are
but
happy.
here we are comfortable.
Yes.
So why?
Aha.
Yeah.
There is a statement that goes that follow your heart but carry your brain with it.
Don't leave the brain behind, you know. But anyway, after that conversation with the heart, he said his heart was quiet for an entire afternoon, and that night the boy slept peacefully, and when he awoke, his heart began to tell him things that came from the soul of the word. It said that all people who are happy have God within them. Now he has spoken to his heart. Now imagine what you feed your heart. In Proverbs 23:7 says, as a man thinketh, so he is. What you feed your heart, the heart brings back.
The story of the two wolves.
Exactly. You have two wolves within you, the bad and the good.
Mm-hmm.
Whichever one you feed,
They are in a war. Which one wins?
it
The
depends on
that
the one you feed. Yes, and so it said that all people who are happy have God within them, and that happiness could be found in the grain of a sand in the desert. Like for him, it's like used to happiness being that girl looking for, but like even in this sand, which is full of this desert, which is full of sand, like nothing you can see except sand. God is in that grain of sand, because a grain of sand is a moment of creation, and the universe has taken millions of years to create it. Everyone on earth has a treasure that awaits him, his heart is saying. We people's hearts seldom say much about those treasures, because people no longer want to go in search of them. And this is the part that I was telling you about when we were children. We speak of them only to children. Later, we simply let life proceed in its own direction towards its own fate. But unfortunately, very few follow the path laid out for them, the path to their personal legends and to happiness. You guys, this is important. Like many of us don't follow our personal legends. We just leave it to fate. There is free will, you guys. We have free will. We can decide to go after our purpose rather than leave things to fate. And the thing is, I think what I say, I hope like I'm being heard. God is in the fate. God is in the free will. If you allow him, that is. He is in both. He is in both. If you choose to let life go the way it goes, let fate take its... God is still there. God will still meet you there. If you choose to get up and pursue your personal legend, he is still there. Maktub. So their hearts speak more and more softly. We then, like this was saying, that when people decide to go with their fate, eventually most people will see the world as a threatening place, and because they do, the world turns out to be threatening, because they've thought it. As you think, so it is. Yeah. So with their hearts, will now begin to speak more and more softly. We never stop speaking out, but we begin to hope that our words won't be heard. We don't want people to suffer because they don't follow their hearts. Then the boy asks, why don't people's hearts tell them to continue to follow their dreams? And this is what the heart says, because that's what makes the heart suffer most. And hearts don't like to suffer. So from then on, the boy understood his heart. He asked it, please never stop speaking to me. He asked that when he wandered far from his dreams, his heart to press him and sound the alarm. The boy swore that every time he heard the alarm, he would heed the message.
Man,
You guys.
do you want us to fast forward through the story at this point?
No, I think we're going to end at this point. Then we will revisit this because like we've gone like really far.
And the last few pages have been.
Yeah, and they also have like the pact. So let's
the falling action.
yeah, we're going into that. Thank you so much, you guys. This has been like very deep and very. I think.
I'm still lost like in thought in this book.
Yeah, like you're seeing things that you didn't even see as you were reading.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Oh,
I think
so
when
much
you
to
read
unpack.
it and when you listen to it, there are two different experiences. Like when
You
someone
like
is reading,
listening.
No, I like actually reading.
Oh.
Because you can go back and read the lines.
It
ponder
provides,
it.
it gives a photographic kind of memory. That when I'm reading the words, like that's why even when
Me, I
was
like to
listening,
take notes.
that's why even when I was listening
You
to
were
it, it
looking at
was
the words.
no, I wasn't. There was
Oh.
like
The subtitles.
subtitles kind of thing, and so yeah, it hits different when you have had someone putting all those dramatic voice kind of effects to it, like when this guy was explaining how the alchemist would be talking, and it makes you feel like he's talking with so much experience and authority, and so it makes you understand how much heaviness is in what he's saying, but not. That's not
One of the things that I did was listen as I read. Like I
also
was
did
looking.
that.
That's why I have this circles. I was listening, but I would kind of like underline. But also I like to take notes for me when I'm reading. But I think people who read books, like physical books, think that us who listen to books are not like real readers.
I actually had a hard copy
Yeah,
of
we
this
actually
book
do
that
think
I
that.
purchased last year.
And you gave it out.
Someone left with it.
Which
I didn't
one?
give it away.
You had the
The
physical
Alchemist.
alchemist.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you guys for discussing this with me. We shall continue it. I don't know when next I'll have both of you at the same time, but whoever will be available, we shall discuss. Yeah, but anyways,
Same.
that's not true. Like when you're available, he's not. When he's available, you're not. That's the problem. So thank you so much for. I hope you guys have enjoyed this discussion. Like this book, if you haven't read it, go back and read it and come and watch this, and maybe we can discuss it. What you can like these things may make sense, but like there are so many lessons to learn. Like even if you haven't read, and I hope you have picked something out of it. What were you saying?
I have like 3 friends who have been like reading but could not get through part 1 because they kept on like posting every part, like taking screenshots and like, oh my goodness, oh my goodness, oh
And
my
you're
goodness.
like, oh, this
And
is
I'm like,
noob.
I
You
know.
have
You
no
haven't even
idea.
gone
You
to-
haven't even
to
gone.
the oasis.
Like
Yeah.
first get to the oasis.
Yes, at
like
least
you
first
know,
get to the oasis.
like
then
okay, past the oasis.
meet the alchemist.
At least like let's meet the
Fatima
alchemist.
at least. But then
You love
I
Fatima.
wish we could even have some way of having their reactions to them to this.
Like the reading.
Yes.
Please comment and tell us what you think about this book.
Video
And
comments, you know, those
or
video comments.
So thank you
What's
so
your
much.
oh my
for-
god moments.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining me. Like, comment, subscribe, share. Thank you so much.
This
And love from the backdrop.